How are we doing? Happy Friday, last day of the month, big day today. Might get some serious movement today. Just got a feeling. Just taking a quick long on the DAX. Just breaking out at the moment above these highs here. We basically had a gap fill this morning, which got done really, really fast. Pulled back, pushed up, broke straight through that high. I've got a feeling we might be going for this one today. So heading for that gap. This is the update potentially today that I was expecting yesterday, which it looked like we were starting to go for, and then decided very much against it yesterday. So yeah, just taking a quick long. I'll see how it opens, and then I might add to that daily. So yeah, inside bar yesterday. So a bit of a pause day from the previous day. Didn't make a new low, and yeah. Fingers crossed today we might come and challenge those highs, and then obviously try and get back up there. But we'll see what happens. Morning, Jane. Morning, Stevie. Morning, Diamond. Morning, Even. Morning, all. Chilly Spain. Yeah, it's chilly England as well. Morning, Themba. Other Steve. Right. Overnight, we didn't get any news. So I set up a short yesterday on the yen. It doesn't really matter. I mean, basically, today we're expecting that intervention news from the yen, from the Bank of Japan. They decided that they're going to intervene and strengthen their currency. And obviously, someone's just actually put it in the Telegram group. Someone said in the Telegram group that the actual announcement on what they're actually going to be doing and how they're going to execute it, etc., will all be announced this morning at 10 o'clock. Final figure will become available when the Ministry of Finance releases the total amount it spent for intervention from August 30th to September 20th at 10 a.m. GMT on Friday. Yeah, that's a figure though. That I'm not sure that is what they were planning to do, was announce their forward policy. But we'll see. So yeah, Bank of Japan basically intervening. So in theory, we should get strength on all yen pairs today at some point. I was expecting it overnight, so I took a short overnight. I was looking at the hourly chart. So I took a short here with an ad, looking for a sort of 150 ADR move down. And yeah, obviously stopped above the highs up here, luckily. But I was looking for them to come and react somewhere around here, basically, which is where my stop was, and actually they did exactly where I thought they might do. So that was quite handy. But yeah, might get stopped out on this morning, might not work. I was expecting it to all happen overnight. We didn't get it. So we'll see what happens this morning. Hopefully they just put it in a holding pattern this morning, and then we'll get some strength coming through on the yens. It doesn't really matter which yen you pick. They should all go down. Obviously, if the yen does power up this morning, take your pick, basically. Obviously, you want to try and pick something that's weak against the yen. So I've just gone with the pound, but New Zealand dollar, Aussie dollar, I mean, anything really, just wouldn't go US dollar. Morning, Adrian. Right, so yeah, so that's the US dollar this morning. We didn't get the news overnight. There was a lot of news came out of Japan last night, but nothing particularly exciting. We've had UK figures this morning. They've all come out, by the looks of things, slightly positive. GDP massively up. Nationwide house price month on month actual is 0. So housing market has slowed down in the UK. We were forecasting growth of 0.3. We got a 0. So flat as a pancake housing market, that featuring before potentially that collapse. Year on year down. And yeah, okay, that's fine. So yeah, nothing much else overnight news wise. interest anyway. Obviously, there's some major stuff going on this morning potentially with Russia as well. Market's just about to open in 4 minutes. Today, Russia or Putin is going to be announcing the annexation of 4 states in Ukraine. So there is potential the markets might not like that. So what I'm hoping is we get a lovely big push this morning ahead of that, and then obviously they can tank and do whatever the hell they like. But yeah, be prepared for some volatility. So we've got Liz Truss meeting the fiscal, the budgetary fiscal board, basically, chairman, to discuss this collapse in the pound. So out of that, there may be some press conference news which will adjust the pound. We've got the announcement of the yen today, their forward plans, and obviously what they've done over the last month for intervention. So that could massively move the yen. We've got Russia's announcement, which could massively move the markets, the stock markets, which will impact all FX pairs at the same time. And other news we've got today is PCE this afternoon and University of Michigan. So there's a lot going on today, and it's the last day of the month, and it's the last day of the quarter. So it is a Friday, and Fridays are quite often fairly quiet, but today I suspect we're going to get some serious movement somewhere. But it's going to come at us out of the blue. I don't think we're going to be able to forecast anything today. So if you're scalping stuff, keep stuff tight and be prepared to get stopped out, or be prepared to make a load of money. So if you're scalping today, my advice would be TP's miles away. If you get something happen, for example, let's say you're short in the DAX, let's say you're up here and you're short in the DAX, you're just taking a short there, don't stick a TP on it, because if Putin announces something and it goes like that, you want to get out down here. You don't want to get out at your 2-to-1 risk reward ratio. So forget TPs, manually close stuff today if you're scalping, because if stuff's going to move fast and hard, let it go. Let it run. We've seen in the past couple of weeks, we've seen 225 ADRs, no problem at all, have we? We've seen 300, 400 ADR moves this week in the last couple of weeks. So don't use TPs unless you're going away from the computer, obviously, and you want to have a TP in place. That's fine. Don't or have your TPs miles away. 150 ADRs like I've got here and plus, so that you make some serious money if you do get those moves on your side. So that's news today. PCE is what we're interested in this afternoon at 1:30. We've got the CPI estimates coming out for the euro. These are only estimates. It's hit and miss with these. I really do find the CPI flash estimates really hit and miss. Occasionally you'll get some movement off of them, but the vast majority of the time you get like a little bit of volatility on small time frames. So be aware of it, especially if you're scalping this morning on DAX. Other than that, not a lot. We've got bank holiday in Canada today, and then we've got talking head later. So nothing apart from that today. Next week, we've got obviously a lot of news as well. We've got all the Australasian rates coming out. We've got CPI figures for the Swiss, and we've got non-farm payroll. So big week next week as well. So it should be good. But yeah, keep your eyes peeled on here. You're going to see whatever comes through on financial juice, you're going to see it in the markets. If you're watching the markets, you're going to see it happen before. And so coming to here is to find out why it's happened. But you're going to see stuff moving way before you actually get told about it, if it's going to today. So markets just opened. Let's just watch the DAX quickly and see where we go. Gap fill is what I'm looking for today. Let's see if we can get that push up. We have just pushed up into the overnight highs, if you've got overnight data on the DAX. If you haven't got overnight data, then obviously we're above the highs of yesterday towards the end of the New York session. Gentlemen, the announcement will be about how much they did intervene last week. Yeah, that's what I thought. But I was told that, well, I was under the assumption that they were going to make an announcement on what their forward plans for intervention are going to be as well, because that's the important bit. What they did last week is done, isn't it? We don't need to know about that. We know what they did last week. We can see it on the charts. US dollar's coming down this morning, which is good for indices. So, we know the Bank of Japan intervened. We need to know what they're going to do moving forward. If they're going to continue to intervene and continue to prop their currency up in a substantial way. And obviously then we will be bullish on the yen. If not, if that was it, obviously we're back to business as usual. So, if that was their intervention, we're long. I don't know. I need some more clarity on it, basically. But we'll see. So we'll see what comes out. They're still awake. DAX is just attempting new highs. So the gap fill you can see is there. New highs on the DAX are off. So 12, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, pretty much is what you can go for there. Uh, 122.90 roughly, somewhere around there. All right, if we're going to go for it. So I put this position on just with a stop down below the open. If it comes down and grabs me, it comes down and grabs me. But what I'm hoping for is either we just go this morning or we just, accumulate and go into a trend day, in which case then I'll just add as we go another position and let's get out of the highs up there. Small risk, just 0.5%, and a fairly big stop, as you can see, 1100, 110 pip. I've got this running on the funded account as well. I've already taken one profit. I took 2 positions this morning at the open. Taken one profit. I've got one running, which is in 1.5% at the moment, but it's break even. So we're going to get that at 11986. 986. So I'm in here. So I've got plenty of room. Bit of a slow open. Not a lot of movement there. Morning, Andy. Just concentrated on scalping S&P this week. Banked 5.6% with a runner. Very nice. Runner still going. 5% a week is a very, very, very good return. You get a 100k funded account and you can generate 5% a week, you're earning 20 grand a month. Thank you very much. Well, you're not, because you've got to give them 20%, but okay, so there's our opening range in. Opening balance is quite small this morning, so let's see where they go from here. It's a bullish open though, which is good. If you look at the, if you've got overnight data, it's ignore this. It's just my dash is not set up. My dash is set up on a daily. I'm only interested in what I'm doing on the daily basis when I'm in my funded accounts. This is the, if you've got overnight data, this is the overnight high, which is where we're sort of sitting at the moment. If we break back down below this overnight high, we'll possibly come back down and retest down here somewhere. So I'd like to see them just break out the opening range this morning and go. That would be very nice if we can do that. But we'll see. Certainly seems to be doing it at the minute. So looking to add above that level there. Then continuation, hopefully. Oh, I'm just dragging my stop up on my funded entry just under the opening range low. What I don't want to do is give the whole lot back if it is going to reverse. Just going to take half. It looks like it's going well this morning. This we've frozen up for some reason. I'm going to do a quick rundown of all the pairs this morning. We've got no ADRs this morning to look at as yet. There's a few hourlies to look at, but I'll go through everything. Just want to see what happens to this. If my charts would unfreeze, we're actually trading at 12.094 at the moment. This chart is frozen. I'm thinking of switching from Robo. I seem to be getting this an awful lot at the minute with Robo Forex. There we go. No, gone again. There we go, back. So just putting back inside the opening range. Wow, that's a big rejection. Okay, so the seller stepped in there. Really stepped in there. Let's see if we can pull this back. We've got 2 minutes left on this candle. Really just want to get this opening range, just a bullish candle breaking above that opening range high, just to show us that we've got more sellers on board this morning. That's a rejection. We could be going south. So let's see where we close. Be nice to get this runner this morning. Targeting on that. There, isn't it? $1,600 trade I've got running on the funded account. If that hits gap fill today, be very nice. Although I will be trailing that. I very much doubt I'll get to the gap before I get out. I'm not brave enough to let it run that long. Okay, we've got 1 minute left on the candle, or 30 seconds left. Looks like we're going to close bullish, which is great. So we should be looking to get, well, say we're going to close bullish. It'd be lovely if we close above that level. So we should be looking for potentially a run for the gap this morning. If we can get a trend day, we'll be up there. I'm just going to add one to this if we can get this close above. Big stops though this morning. Not getting greedy. Okay. Obviously, this is a 15-minute chart I'm just looking at here, but with 5 minute candles closed above that level. So okay, I'm going to leave that running. Right, let's have a look at the pairs. So CAD, ADRs. Sorry, because it's on the CAD yen chart. ADRs, nothing overnight. We had a fairly stable Asian session, bit of movement overnight, but nothing really massive. So I think today we've got a very good chance of getting some of these ADRs hit. Morning, Burke. It's the last day of the month. It's the last day of the quarter. We had a very volatile day yesterday. We had a lot of pound and euro ADRs hit 150, 175, etc. So we had a lot of volatility, but the volatility is coming on the pound and the euro, as you would expect in the London New York session. We had a few. We had an ADR hit as well, I think, on ADR on US dollar CAD or US dollar Swiss yesterday. Which one it was? One of them. I think we got hit on yesterday. 150, yeah, it's on US dollar CAD. And obviously, because it's the last day of the month and the quarter, we could well see an awful lot of profit-taking moves. So obviously, when they take profit, they're either buying or selling to get out of their positions. So we quite often get a lot of volatility on the last day of the month and the quarter as well. Sometimes, though, we've had it. So you can never really tell. Yesterday could have been the day that they finished all their moves, and today we'll just get an accumulation. But today, obviously, we've got potentially a lot of heavy moving news events coming through. So, it's just, literally you can flip a coin at the moment. If you're in a position and it goes your way, it's going to fly. You're going to make a load of money. If you're in a position and it doesn't go your way, you're going to get stopped out very, very quick on big candles. So just be aware. Obviously, that's all happening today. I'm hoping when all this news comes through on the yen, after Liz Truss has had her meeting today, and after Russia has annexed, or attempted to annex, what the hell's going to go on there, I have no idea, but attempted to annex part of Ukraine. Next week, the markets should hopefully be a little bit more back to normal. So I'm looking to start getting into some longer term positions again next week. But overnight, not an awful lot. We've got a few ADR, a few RSI hits on the hourlies at the moment. So Euro odd, nicely extended to the upside. I'm short Euro, but obviously the Australian dollar is also very, very weak. Well, I say very weak. It's quite weak at the moment. So although I've got a short bias on the Euro, we had a good day on the Euro yesterday. Had some strength coming through, but obviously a lot of stuff was weak. So it's the thing with the Euro is it looks strong. Someone said to me yesterday in the Telegram group, Euro's strong. It's not strong. Everything's weak, and it's making the Euro look a little bit stronger than it is. But if the Aussie dollar decides to power up, the Euro's going to have nothing against it. So we got figures coming out on the Euro at 10 o'clock this morning. So we may get some strength and or weakness coming through, i.e. whipsaw. But we've broken out a new high. And it's nicely extended on the hourly. So there's a nice little mean reversion opportunity there, short term on that reversal alert when it kicks in. That's on the hourly, sorry. Or you could take it on the hourly, obviously. You're looking for something like 80 pips to the downside, but lower time frames, you've probably had the M5. Yeah, the M5's already happened. We're just in chop at the minute, but M15, I mean, to be honest, that is actually quite a choppy alert as well. When you get reversal alerts this is a lovely reversal alert. Yeah. What we're looking for is strong movement and then breaking structure the other side and then retest or just off it goes. If you get a reversal alert in a range, that reversal alert isn't really telling you that there's been a break in structure. It's just telling you that range is continuing. Sometimes when you're in big ranges, you'll see a reversal alert and then you'll see another reversal alert in the opposite direction without the market moving very far, and that's by design to show you that we're range bound. So this isn't going to be a great reversal alert, but if you look at it on the hourly, we are very extended, and there's a nice little opportunity for a pullback there into this propulsion gap. So we had a nice little accumulation there, nice big propulsion move. If they're going to support that move, that's where they're going to target, and that's where they will probably target to come and retest. So potentially a good move down there. So you've got Euro odd extended, Euro CAD as well. Again, all these are on the Euro moves yesterday. Nice big, what did we get yesterday on that one? Pretty much 220, so about 175 ADR. So again, nice mean reversion opportunities on these Euros. Back down into propulsion gaps. We've got another one down here which hasn't also been tested. Again, remember what I said yesterday about good propulsion gaps are where the actual candle that creates the gap breaks a high. These are really, really, really good. And as you see, this got retested to the pip. They piled in and pushed it higher. And again here, there's the high. Little accumulation for 4 hours. Smashed out through it. Broke that high. Very, very likely we're going to come and test that area. DAX is just pulling back at the moment. Would expect to pull back eventually before a push. Obviously, people will be taking profit and scaling in again. But the pound odd, again, big moves up. Look at these there. It's the same thing, yeah. Look at this. Euro odd, Euro CAD, pound odd, pound CAD. This has been caused by Australian and Canadian dollar mostly. So obviously, if you're going to scale into these sorts of things, try not to take both of them because there's a high probability they're both going to do the same thing. But pound odd, very nicely extended. Again, looking at where we're approaching at the moment, if we can get a sweep of that high, that'd be lovely. And that's a complete, so this is the monster range before the screw up by the government, undone by the Bank of England. But we are in a bear market, so we're looking for shorts. The Bank of England haven't done anything to help. What they've done is just undo that. So the intervention that we've had from the Bank of England is basically they've screwed up the government. Their plans are going to make a hole of 65 billion in the economy. The Bank of England have sold a load of bonds to the tune of 65 billion to fill the hole the government screwed up. So this is why we've got a V-shaped recovery on some of these, not all of these instruments, but some of these instruments, because it's just a case of, oh, okay, you've sorted it. But you haven't sorted that. That is still the same. And what they've just done is going to make that worse. Inflation is going to get higher. Interest rates are going to have to go higher. Pound is going to come down. So this is what, if we're going to be selling stuff, we want to be selling it at the highs, don't we? So perfect spot to get in on a pound odd. Pound CAD, same thing. Yeah. But obviously bear in mind, anything you're getting into today, you've got potential volatility in multiple ways, shapes and forms coming today. If the announcement on the yen really pleases the market and the market wants to start buying the yen up, they're going to take money out of other currencies to put it into the yen. Could well come out of the pound. It could come out of anywhere. You never know where the majority is sitting and where they're going to need to pull and push and where hedges are going to need to be put in. One of the main reasons you get high volatility when you get interventions like this with the Bank of Japan is because there'll be a lot of hedging positions put on the yen, because there's a lot of transactions come out of Japan. A lot of manufacturing comes out of Japan and goes all over the world. So when Japan sells something and ships it to America, they will take a hedge on the difference between what they're invoicing now and when they will get paid on it. So if they issued an invoice to Microsoft for chips or something for 2 billion yen, by the time Microsoft pays that invoice, the yen dollar exchange rate is going to be completely different. So that hedge is there to cover, and this is what hedge funds do, they cover the difference in those transactions. So their job is to cover what they may lose in exchange rate. If we're going to have a massive push on the yen, then the hedge funds will have to adjust an awful lot of their positions on the yen. And all other currencies, obviously, that they're hedging with. So that's why you get these huge moves like we saw here. This is a change in hedge. So we were doing that, and now to protect our customers' money, we have to do that. And then it's a case of, right, well, that wasn't quite what we thought it was, or the time to do it, we'll pull it back. So this is what drives the market. At the end of the day, it's money, money making money. So there's a few ADRs, few RSIs there. 4 hours. I must switch over so that I've got both of these up again. It's just I turned them off because they were going nuts when we had lots of RSIs and ADRs going off all over the place. Pound odd, euro CAD. So again, same thing we were looking at there. Pound odd, nicely extended on the 4 hour. There's a few others just come in there. Nice extension to the upside, looking to short. Obviously, this isn't particularly strong, so this isn't the best short in the world at the moment, but still a good opportunity to get in if you're going to position trade. Even if you're not going to position trade, it's a good opportunity to get in. Look at where we are on the pound odd. If you want to get in with a stop, take the next reversal alert you see on M15 or hourly, stop above the highs. Same thing works with stops. Pound odd, euro yen. Again, big extension to the upside. This is a really good short opportunity as well. I'm getting on the pound yen, but the euro yen is still also really good. We've completely undone that intervention statement. We're back to where we were, coming down. So the difference is, last time we were here, we were bullish. Now, potentially from today onwards, we might be bearish on this. So again, I can't make a decision on it because I don't know what is going to come out of the yen and whether what they're going to be doing moving forward. So I don't know whether we need to be long or short on it. So, but if you are thinking what I'm thinking and they are going to power up the yen, then we want to be short. We're extended on that. So perfect short opportunity. Same with the pound yen. It's not quite as extended. It's nearly there, but obviously I'm expecting the pound to weaken. So again, if I'm, you know, when you're getting into something, you're thinking, right, that's going to strengthen. What's the weakest thing out there? And if you want to get into one this morning, have a look at what the weakest thing right now is. The weakest thing, oh Christ, there's not a lot that's weak actually. Look, I would say the Swiss franc. Take your pick, really. New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc, US dollar's coming down. Bit hard to unpick this, isn't it? It's a bit of a mess down there. But the strongest thing out there at the moment, right now, is the pound. But you know, you don't go buying the pound. The pound's been strong. It's moved up. So you know, you don't buy stuff after it's moved up. You know, this is why currency strength is not the best thing in the world to concentrate on. Good opportunities. If you want to use currency strength meters, the way to use them to trade is you pick the weakest currency right now and the strongest currency right now, and you do the opposite. So pound New Zealand, 9 o'clock last night, what you wanted to do with that was you wanted to sell the pound New Zealand, because you would expect this is really, really weak. Sorry, the pound yen, that is. This is really, really weak, so you would expect this one to either go that way or that. And this is really, really strong, so at some point you expect to do that and that. So as that comes down and that goes up, pound yen will move quickly in a short direction. Yeah, so you do the opposite. You know, so a lot of people say, "Oh, look, this is really strong. I'm going to buy it." Well, it's been strong. You've missed it. It's like saying on a chart, you know, this has come down really, really fast and hard. I'm going to sell it. You wouldn't do that, would you? It's the same with currency strength. Yeah, you've missed that move. After a strong move in one direction comes a profit take. It's what we take those. All the continuations, obviously, of those initial moves, which is what I'm doing here. So Euro yen obviously extended. Euro CAD massively extended to the upside as well. Really nice extension on that. Again, we're up in a kind of bull. We've gone really, really bullish, but we've got weak Canadian dollars, giving the euro an opportunity to get a big move to the upside. This shouldn't remain like that at all. The euro is not that strong. So mean reversion opportunity off of this propulsion candle here. Very, very good. So like the look of that one. We're just coming up into a bit of a propulsion gap. It's an old one here. Not particularly clean one either, but it is there. And this is obviously where we started selling. But this is good. It's a really old move. So these old ones don't particularly react quite as well. Because people that were in here, short, they're out. They're out somewhere down here. Most of them. But that's nicely extended to the upside. So drop down M5, M15. For reverse M15, you just had a reverse alert. It's just retesting now. So again, if you want to get in, nice safe entry, stop below the low. If you want to, entry below the low. If you want to use a stop, goes above the high. If you're position trading, obviously, I'll just get in when it starts to look weak. Yeah, looks good. Euro odd, same thing. Just about to get a reverse alert on M15, nicely extended on the 4 hour. Australian dollar obviously is weak at the moment, so you know, bear in mind you are trading a weak currency against a weak currency. So the euro is stronger than the Aussie at the moment, but any kind of strength in the Aussie, we haven't got news coming next week, so got to be a little bit careful. DAX is just flying. Very nice. And the other thing we've got is the CAD Swiss. It's only, let me know if there's any pairs you want to look at in detail. CAD Swiss, you just missed it by those things. It's just starting to push up. Lovely reverse, nice tight reversal there after that stop run. Look. End of Asia, that's gone. Look at that retest. Beautiful. But yeah, that's nicely extended as well. Oh, our dating site's back. Too bad this morning, not too blurry, is it? Right. So, news this morning, 10 o'clock. Bear in mind, you've got an hour and a half for the CPI figures. So just bear that in mind. If you're in the DAX minute, might be a good idea to try and get out there. Right, so overnight we haven't had a massive amount of movement on anything really. The pound, just a sort of an accumulation at the moment. We're waiting for the next move on the pound. Very, very difficult to tell where this thing's going and what they're going to do with this. So pound US dollar, which is what I've got short running on at the moment, I'm going to be adding into that. I've just started a position on this accidentally. So I'm just going to move my stop up 1 sec. We tested that, haven't we? So let's go there. Actually, I'm going to tighten my stop right up. My DAX trade, my other DAX trade, I've just stuck my stop here. I'm just worried about this level. We had some little bit of resistance there for about 15-20 minutes. We have pushed up now, but we're just coming into this move, yesterday's propulsion gap. I'm just worried that we might get a large selling step in here, and if so, I want to protect my my profit that I've got, because I've got 3.3% running on it at the minute. So I just don't want to get caught out by a whacking great red candle coming in fast. You know, like here, one of these. Just don't want to get caught by one of those and suddenly be back at break even again without taking profit. What was I talking about? Sorry, 1 sec. Yeah, so pound US dollar, I've got a short. I've started on this. Obviously, pound US dollar is a big short. Nothing's changed with the US dollar strength, and nothing's really changed with the pound strength. So I think this is a really good level to get in. Anywhere around here is likely to act as some kind of resistance. I was expecting us to move down a lot faster than this. I wasn't really expecting us to get this gap filled, but obviously what the Bank of England's done, the market has calmed slightly and eased. So we've got this this temporary push at the moment. We've got an accumulation that we're approaching here, where we started that tumble, but we were already obviously coming down. So if we can get back up towards the 24, if we can get back up to there, I think that's probably where we're going to just start to continue this downward trend. So if you have to think, right, let's wipe this out. So this was a fundamental whoops. If that hadn't have happened, this is where we would be right now in a downtrend. So looking to continue that downtrend basically. So somewhere around here, we could likely get a reaction. We may pull back a little higher than this, but overall bias shouldn't really change on the pound US dollar. So I've got that one starting to run as a short. There's quite a few, obviously all of these pounds look very, very similar. So some of them have got higher than others. We're approaching support resistance. So all these pound pairs, you know, just look at where we are. If they pop up above highs, you know, try and blank this out and assume that we are in an accumulation, or we're coming out of an accumulation and we're pushing up into a double top at the moment. So, you know, you've got to kind of try in your head and wipe this out, because this is the government and the bank cancelling each other out. So we're back to square one. All we've done is we're pushed up into a double top now, if you think about it. We're looking for short entries. 72 is exactly where we would look to get in a downtrend if this 24 doesn't hold, which is what's happening now. Nicely extended there. So this is a normal entry. Obviously, we're in an abnormal condition at the moment with high volatility and high risk. So if anything happens coming out of today's meeting and Liz Truss comes out and says we had a very productive meeting, what we've decided to actually do is reverse the whole lot and do this instead. Yeah, it's going to go nuts in a completely opposite direction probably. So just bear that in mind. You know, if you are starting positions, you might have to get out of them. There could be a fundamental shift. Unlikely, I think, with a pound, but you never know. So But all of these are really good opportunities where they are. All the pounds pulling back nicely. When you're trying to get into trends, you want to get in on pullbacks. Beautiful pullback, but don't expect it to move at that rate. This is the normal rate. This is an abnormal rate. With an abnormal push comes an abnormal pullback. Volatility will return to normal. ADR at 250. ADRs are going through the roof, obviously, as you would expect, because the average daily range is changing massively, but only because of one whacking great day. So skews all the figures. Pound yen, obviously looking to get in on a short on that. I've got one short on it at the moment, but looking to get in on a short. I've got a short pending order sitting on the funded account as well on that one. Here. Whoa, what the hell? Sorry. There. So looking to get in short, just get a nice move down on this. Basically, this is a preemptive position based on yen coming through. Pound New Zealand pushed up higher than expected. Obviously, pound. This all these Aussie pairs at the moment. With what's going on in China, I think China is what's the main impact at the moment on that whole section of the country, of the world rather. New Zealand, Aussie, all very, very, very weak, not showing any signs of strengthening at all. So, with the pound as weak as it is, it's managing to beat these. Same as the euro. Euro's beating them as well. So we're just getting into RSI extension on this again. Again, ignore that. But look at last time we got extended. We got a little bit of a pullback there. Oops, sorry. There. Got a pullback. There. Got a pullback. Accumulation before the second push. So, where we are right now, coming up to this double top, beautiful short entry. So all these pounds are looking really good. They're all approaching really good levels to get into. So all worth a shot. The euros, again, all bearish. Nothing fundamental at the moment on the euro that we should be saying, yep, we want to be long. It's not quite as weak as it was. Outlook is changing on the euro. There is talk of a 0.75 increase on the next interest rate, which is going to be positive. So there's a good chance that we might see some strength coming through. But every time so far, the market has looked negatively upon everything that the euro's done to try and get on top of inflation. So business as usual on this. We're in a pullback. Personally, I'd love to see this get up into resistance. If we can get up here, anywhere, you've got multiple levels here, this kind of zone where we've reacted previously at the 24. So if we can get a push up to ADR on this today, that would be a lovely entry short. If the indices carry on pushing as they are, which they are at the moment, the DAX is just pushing up again, just testing new highs. So if the DAX continues to push, we're going to get that continuation on the US indices. They'll be doing the same thing, which will drive the US dollar down, which will mean euro US dollar will push. At the moment, though, obviously, not having much impact. We've got a weak euro this morning by those things. But yeah, if we can get this continuation push on the indices, we could easily see an ADR on that today. Lovely opportunity to get in short on euro US. Euro New Zealand pushing up. That's a level from another chart. So again, we've got a nice level up here as our fallback. We're not quite extended on the Euro New Zealand, but this thing's like an absolute rocket at the moment because the New Zealand dollar is absolutely shot. So not extended. We had lots of opportunities to get in this. I was in this. I got out of it basically because it didn't seem to be stopping. The New Zealand just did not seem to be having any strength whatsoever. But short on this, I want to see it get extended really before I would have another crack at that. Euro yen we've looked at like that short. Euro pound, difficult one. Both potentially shorts, so difficult. This is what happens when you get two weak currencies together. Very difficult to pick a direction on it. Look at the ADR on this. We were talking, weren't we? Week or so ago, don't bother trading euro pound because look at the ADR on it, it's crap. 48 I think we were looking at, weren't we? We're now at 142. Yeah, so just bear in mind, ADR is a measurement of the average daily range of the last 10 days. You get days like this, that figure is going to change dramatically. So after a high volatility day, ADR becomes a lot less effective. It's pretty obvious. So does everything. Moving averages become less effective. All indicators become less effective in high volatility times because every reading you get is different. You stick Bollinger Bands on this thing, yeah? Everybody tries to sell the Bollinger Bands that we're doing this. Yeah. The Bollinger Bands now have done that. Yeah. You were trying to sell it all the way up here. It's dead. Dead. Normally what happens with the Bollinger Band is it pops outside and then comes back down again. This one went parabolic through it. Your Bollinger Bands now are going to look like that. They're useless. Yeah. So all indicators become fairly useless after a huge move like this. You need to give it a time for them all to adjust themselves back down again, which is why I like RSI. RSI measures the relative strength, and this indicator is a very fast-acting indicator. You can see obviously how quickly it went extended and how quickly it's come back into the norm. So now we're measuring this. It's a lot. This is why I love the RSI. It's a lot more true to what is actually going on with the price than most other indicators out there. So, why I use it all the time. So yeah, Euro Pound, bit of an unknown. Euro Swiss, again, you got strong Swiss franc at the moment. We've got, I think we got Swiss. We got Swiss news. It was Mackler yesterday, wasn't it? Didn't do anything. I don't think we got anything coming up. Oh yeah, we have got Swiss CPI on Monday. Right, okay, so this is the biggie. This is the inflation. So it should come out positive. We should get more strength on the Swiss franc. So therefore, looking good for shorts. Not extended, but yeah, love it. And look at this one. I mean, it's just been a dream to trade this thing if you can get into it for ages. It's just a lovely short. But at the moment, obviously, we got a little bit of a stronger euro, but the Swiss franc will always trump that. So I'm just moving my stop up on my DAX again. It's getting a bit too close. 580. So yeah, like that as a short. It's not really extended there yet. Hourly, we've just come out of an extension and we're pushing up again. So you're likely to get an extension again on that today. But lots of levels on this one. That was a beautiful one. But if we can get an ADR hit to the upside on that, it'd be lovely to get into. But I like it short. Still, Euro CAD. Again, like that short. US dollar's strong. Canadian dollar's a little bit too weak at the moment, but that will come down at some point. And Euro odd. Obviously, these are the extended ones on the 4 hour. Good chance of at least a pullback on those. If not, starting that move down. So it's all the euros. The yen's obviously everything yen. Today, at some point, you're likely to get some movement on that. So everything yen, just take with a little bit of a pinch of salt at the moment. But my bias after that move has got to be short. Everything against the yen. When the yen powers up, it powers up massively, and it keeps going. So it'll be a lovely trender if it can get started. I'm really keen to see what their plans are. So yeah, Swiss yen shorts, CAD yen shorts, Aussie yen short, everything short, especially Aussie. That's a really good one. But Aussie yen, I'd much rather trade a European pair with a yen pair if I'm going to get into a position on it, because you get a lot more push and pull. You get the euro zone moving at the opposite ends to the yen. With the Aussie yen, these are both Australasian currencies. They both move in the Asian zone, Asian session. So you get a lot of accumulation during the Asian session with this one. Whereas with the pound or a euro or a US yen pair, you get push and pull throughout the whole Asian session, the whole London session, and the whole New York session. So best to trade really. But So looking at the CAD Swiss, again, this has got to be a short, isn't it, in a minute? It's very nicely extended down there. Swiss franc is strong. Forecast to potentially get stronger next week off the CPI figures. And the CAD is uncharacteristically weak at the minute. So shorts don't really want to mean revert it. Although saying that, it's a lovely double bottom going in at the minute. That's come off the textbook. Nice reverse alert on the hourly. You've kind of missed it. You wanted the M5 reverse alert this morning in Asia. But yeah, looking good. There's a lot of upside on that still, though. But, I think just bear in mind you've got to be out of this by, what, Tuesday next week? Monday, sorry. Yeah, I mean, 7:30 is the first news event next week. On Monday, 7:30 is the CPI figures for the Swissy. So if you're going to get into this, you want to be out really today. There's a good chance that this is going to do that. But then what did we think was going to happen to the Swiss franc when that happened? Just you can't trust anything at the minute. Aussies. Very weak at the minute, all the Aussies. These are very difficult to get into. You need to be trading smaller time frames to get into these at the moment if you're going to trade pullbacks and mean reversion continuations, because it's just not giving too many opportunities. We are getting some decent strength, obviously, on the US dollar, which has made this massive move down for the week. But any kind of pullbacks on this, I'd be looking to short it. Aussie, New Zealand, looking for longs. Looking pretty good where it is at the moment. This is where I want it to be. If we can get down there, that's where I would long it, and I will long it from there. The Aussie New Zealand has been really good to me over the last few months. If we can get back down here, I'd be happy to take that. The Aussies, when you got this all being weak, the Aussies always going to be the stronger. At the moment, a little bit weaker than normal, but we've got the rates coming on both of these next week. So again, forward planning. It's the Aussie rate on Tuesday, the New Zealand rate on Wednesday. So this is obviously what's going to have a massive monetary policy impact and what's going to be pushing or pulling those two around. So you've just got to be careful. You will get a lot of push and pull on this next week. So, and obviously if you get down to here, on the Aussie announcement and you go, yep, that looks like a lovely long, and then the New Zealand comes out and their rates mean that the New Zealand is going to power up massively, it's just going to come like this. So you just got to be aware of these things. If you get into this today, next Tuesday and Wednesday, potentially it's all going to change. So just be careful. I'm just about to get stopped out on my DAX. Not on this account, on the funded account. So I'm just stopping out for $500 and something. That's a lovely morning. $865.99. Very much. So yeah, just got stopped out on that pullback. Looking at this just being an accumulation, but I need to take some profit on that. Still got a long way to go, potentially. So looking for that to hold, basically. So still like it long. So I'm just trying to do maths in my head. Okay. Right. Yeah, so Aussies, Aussie Swiss, short. Swiss franc, too strong at the moment. Again, Swissy, Monday. Aussie, Tuesday. Or whatever, don't know, but loads of volatility coming on this one next week, so just be careful. And Aussie CAD. Aussie CAD is a little bit, this shows you how weak the Canadian dollar's been. We've got an awful lot of sideways movement on this one at the moment. Slightly bearish tinge to it, but difficult to trade this one at the moment. quite a small ADR. Obviously, that could all change. I've got a feeling next week we're going to get some strength coming through the Australasian pairs. They've been so unbelievably weak. If you look at everything against the AUD and everything against New Zealand, they're weak. They've been weak for such a long time now. They're due some strength, and I've got a feeling they're going to use the rates to power these things up. We'll get the forecasts on these on Monday. Actually, I think they fell over the weekend. But I get the feeling, if they do put the rates up by a decent amount, we'll see some strength coming through on those two. So, if you're in things like Euro New Zealand and you've got shorts on at the moment, Wednesday, Tuesday next week, you could see some serious movement on those. And potentially a shift in direction, some strength coming through on them. So that, to me, at the moment, Euro New Zealand, if you're not in any Euro New Zealand shorts, that's a good looking little opportunity at the moment, I think. I think this is probably extended on the daily, isn't it? Yeah, massively extended on the daily. Look. We haven't been up to that level since February. This is the sort of thing I'm talking about. Suddenly the New Zealand dollar rate changes and everyone goes, whoa, like the New Zealand dollar, you could have a massive monster move starting from there. Look at the strength of push or the weakness in the New Zealand dollar before that shift, weakness in the New Zealand dollar. So it's in a good spot. Technically it's not, but we're not talking about technicals, we're talking about fundamentals here. So if this breaks back down below there, that is also a technical level. But anyway, looks good. I like it. So the New Zealand's pretty much the same thing, obviously. So just be aware. We always get this little bit of strength ahead of rate announcements. We saw it with the euro, and then if the market is happy with the rate announcement, if not, no. So we've got a decent move started on the New Zealand dollar to the upside on that one. But I would be looking overall shorts on it right now, but next week that might change. So again, kind of difficult to trade any of these New Zealands or the Aussies, because whatever you're going to get, from a position trading perspective, if you're going to use a stop, no problem. If you're going to position trade these, obviously you could be getting in at completely the wrong time on them. But looking at this, this is what the New Zealand dollar is. The New Zealand central bank is going to want to change, and the government is going to want to change. They do not want their currency dropping at this rate, so they will do something about it. And this is what we do. This is what rate changes and fundamental news is for, is to stabilize currencies and make sure that everybody in that country is getting the best bang for their buck. So opportunity for this to have a nice big strong push. Look at it on the daily. The most extended it's been for long time, 12 months, 18 months. Yeah, really, 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 really weak. We've also got a strong Swiss franc at the moment, but look at the tails forming here. Yeah, potentially this is the end of the move, starting down here. And we're going to start to get at least a pullback, if not some kind of fundamental shift that powers up the Australasian zone, and off we go. So looking good there. New Zealand dollar yen, however, will not be as strong as the yen if the intervention on the yen proves to be very, very strong. Obviously, as we're expecting it may well be. That one will still be a short. And New Zealand US will still be a short. Nice head and shoulders there. Haven't got the neckline break though. 90% of these fail. You get that push, and then New Zealand US, even if the New Zealand does power up, any kind of strength in the US is obviously going to trump that. US is always going to beat everything. And talking about the US is obviously very, very strong, as we know at the moment. Not really mean reverting against the US. I'd like to long the US if I can get an opportunity to get in on it. US dollar Swiss, obviously this is the only one that is given an opportunity to get in, but it's a strong currency against a strong currency. And it's an absolute mess if you look at it from a price action perspective. It's just erratic. Big moves in either direction. So when you get into it and you get into it right and it starts to move, it's one of those I think you can hold. Obviously you can hold it nicely because it's really strong. It doesn't give you many opportunities to get out. But very difficult to pick a direction on that one. Not something I'm interested in trading at the moment because it's all over the place. If I had to do something with it, I'd be long in it. Just based on the fact that we've got price action out of that propulsion gap there. But again, Swiss franc is strong. So this could well just drop around for a bit. US dollar yen would be a short. Oil, well, US dollar yen actually I wouldn't touch with a barge pole because they're both really, really strong. These two will just have a tug of war if the yen powers up. Gold, this is getting into a really good area for shorts. People were talking about this in the Telegram group. What to do with gold. I like it short. We've got this nice big accumulation here, or area of balance, which we held for quite a while after we broke down. We're just tapping back into that. We pushed back down out of it. So this was price discovery. We're back. So either that's going to happen or we're going to probably accumulate. US dollar strength will push this down. Weak US dollar means gold has a little reprieve, but that's what I would expect. So looking for shorts, and this is where I'd like to short it from if I was trading gold. Anywhere on a pullback, look, at the minute. So good opportunity to start getting into some short positions on that one. Oil. So oil, we got this push. We had the push on Wednesday. We didn't do anything yesterday. And so far today, obviously, we're still within yesterday's range. So this is the area of chop, this 5-day accumulation we've got to get through here. So we need to get through this. That's where we obviously hit the brick wall yesterday and the previous day. So if we can get that break on oil today, I think this is the peak formation low gone in. And as I said yesterday, this $75, $76 a barrel is cheap. It's really cheap for oil. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get that movement up. 5th of October, OPEC are planning on cutting production rates, which in a normal world, production rate cuts and demand staying the same equals higher prices. So I would suspect this is the start before the push. So I would have a long bias on this thing at the minute. Very extended down there, and obviously it started to push back out. So you got your extension on the RSI here. We had one more leg down before it started its push back, but it's got to get through all of this stuff. It's got to get through this, which is going to be tricky. And you know, when we get up into the 24.72 area, that's where we're going to see whether or not we really are in a bear market on oil. Who knows? It's certainly bearish at the moment, but you know, this would be my ideal getting down here. I can't see it getting any lower than that. So you've got a decision to make. Do you think this is the peak formation and we're going to get what we would expect to see on fundamentals, which is higher oil prices? Or is this bear market just going to continue to push oil down because people just are not willing to pay? And then off we go. What's the drawing tool I'm using? It's called Epic Pen. Epic Pen. Tank Studios, licensed to me. -8 days left in my trial. Because I was going with Epic Pen Pro and I decided not to use any of the features in it. So I let it expire. But yeah, Epic Pen, it's really good. Oil. Yeah, so that's oil. Indices. Obviously, we know indices are a whacking great short. Lovely pullback at the moment going on. So I'm looking for that gap fill today. We got the reversal yesterday on the 4 hour. Sorry, not yesterday, the day before. Where are we? Hang on. 4, 8, 12, 4, 8, 12, day before. Let's do some maths. So yeah, so lovely big push, pullback, retest, just about potentially going to break above there now and get our retest, which gives us our W. So remember I said I'm looking for a pullback on this now. We've had a very, very, very strong run, very strong run. We're due a pullback. I thought that was going to be the start of the pullback. It proved me wrong the next day, but this looks like it could be the start of that lovely W peak formation low going in. So we will see today. We need a big bull candle today. We need a bullish engulfing. We need to hold up there and close up there. If that happens, then I think we're going to start to get a pullback. So we should be looking, based on what's happened in the past, at least getting up to the 24, if not getting up to the 72 before starting next leg down. Obviously, that is dependent on fundamental events. The other thing we've got coming today is Putin. So very difficult to know how the market is going to react to what Putin's going to say today. So, he's having a massive big show and a party to say that we are going to annex 4 states in the Ukraine. Every time there's been negative news about the conflict, the markets have come down hard. So the markets know this is happening today, and yet they're pushing up this morning. So you have to ask yourself the question, is this people getting out of positions ahead of loading back up to push down for another leg? So just this is why I put a nice tight trailer on it, because I'm worried that when we get that announcement from Putin today, we're going to get, just the start of a big move down. So I don't know. Just be a bit cautious with anything you're trading on the indices today. There's a lot of things that are going to happen. The yen figures are coming out, monetary policy changes, Truss coming out of that meeting and doing a press conference and explaining something that might be changing. Every single thing about every currency and every world event at the moment affects all stock markets. We're in a massive fear stance at the moment. We were in extreme fear. I don't know what we are. I didn't look at yesterday's. It's risk off. So, the markets react very violently in a risk off situation because their money gets pulled in and pulled out very, very fast. Yeah, extreme fear. This is massively low. We don't get down. Extreme fear is it's an area you don't see very often. We spend the vast majority of our time here. That's a very, very low reading. That's, market crapping themselves. Investors not wanting to invest. When you get extreme fear, what you tend to find is that when there is an economic event, the speed at which the market pulls its money is faster. The candles are way bigger. The volatility is higher because in an extreme fear scenario, when something goes against you, you get out quicker. And everybody sees the people getting out quickly, so they get out quicker, and it exponentially speeds up the movement of the market. So this is what I say. That's why I had a very tight stop on that DAX position. Yeah, that will happen. Boom. Yeah, and if you don't get out of it when that first candle comes in, you're getting out down here. So everybody gets out quick. Everybody's scared that they're going to see this massive volatility. So, everybody takes smaller profits. Everybody's a bit more worried about everything. So, be wary today. We've got a lot of potential upsets. And again, obviously, it can go the opposite way. You could have huge faith restored. Putin might come out and say, this is a temporary measure. We want to sit down at the negotiating table. If that happens, the market's going to go up here somewhere. Highly unlikely, obviously, but these are the extremes that you can get today at the moment with the market the way it is. Nasdaq, we had a down day again yesterday. Big bearish engulfing. We did make a new low there. So remember on the DAX yesterday, we didn't manage to make a new low. We've got a higher low put in. US indices, Nasdaq, we put in a new low. We came down and retested again. So that was the proper test on that double bottom. Yeah. So we tested that perfectly as a double bottom. So, think of it from a technical point of view. The entire market had limit orders set there. Those limit orders triggered. Only managed to push it up to there. So far, we're up here. So this is exactly the reaction point you would expect to get some movement to the upside. So, you know, it certainly seems to be going that way today. The S&P, same as the DAX, didn't quite manage to put in a new lower low. Again, not happy to close below that level. Now, again, higher low. So tech stocks weaker than everything else. So you got divergence across the markets. Vast majority of markets putting in higher lows yesterday, and inside bars as well. Yeah, look at what we're forming. Yeah, look on a lower time frame. We've got potentially contraction and explosion. But again, Putin, you know, you just don't know. So technically, we should be looking long all indices. And we've got gap fill obviously on the DAX as a really good target to aim for. If we get that filled, that could be the point at which we come back to, like, let's hang around and see what's happening next. So we're struggling on the DAX to make new highs. We're stalling out here. Again, this is where that sell move started yesterday. Yeah, sellers are going to start adding to their positions here potentially. It's whether or not we got enough buyers and profit takers on these moves to break through that zone. If we can break through that zone, we should have a clear run, but we've got to get this break first. So I'm just going to break even average that position. Might get stopped out on it. Kind of want to get a run on this. So just, you know, it's home run or nothing really. My mentality at the moment. Right, that's everything covered. So yeah, lots of opportunities out there, but again, lots of volatility. Scary times. Be very, very careful. Keep your eyes peeled on financial juice today. We've got potentially a lot of movement ahead of us. So 10 o'clock today really seems to be the time. So if that announcement from the yen on their intervention is coming out at 10 o'clock, that's going to hit us at the same time as the CPI flash estimates on the euro. I've no idea what time Putin's thing is. Putin's speech today, can't spell. Putin to give annexation speech today. So no idea what time it is. But yeah, that's at some point today. So we have to be aware, obviously, that is going to happen today. And I suspect the markets will have a big old move off of that. So just be careful out there today. And obviously it's the last day of the month. So could have some big movements. But I don't think the market's interested in moving too much at the minute until we get that news out of the way. All right, so have a good one. I'll be back on Monday, same time, 7:50 as usual. Hoping to get into some more position trading next week. Hopefully today is going to be the clarity day and we can get a good understanding of where everything's meant to be going, especially with the yen. That's a real thing, and obviously the pound. But other than that, just going to keep on scalping and making money that way while I'm waiting for the chaos to calm down. All right, anybody got anything they want or they need, let me know in the Telegram group. I'll be in there. I'm always in there. But other than that, have a good day and have a good weekend. And I'll be back on Monday. See you then.